two things about Mike. One, he's married to a member of our neighborhood advisory committee. He's Martha Wicker, for those of you who don't know. And also he has inherited 30 acres of land along 15501 near the Senior Enrichment Center, which he has announced that he's going to continue his conservation work by planting more than 8,000 tree seedlings on that undeveloped land. So thank you, Mike Wicker and Martha, for that. We also, as I've every now and then do, I look at the police daily reports, and I thought I would compare 2 days, July 4th to July 6th, two very distinctive days. And on July 4th, there were just 7 citations issued, much less than we usually do. And 1 mental patient committed. And on June 27th, I went back 2 weeks, 13 citations were issued, 5 verbal warnings, 3 written warnings, 4 mental patients committed, and 1 crash report. I bring those things up just to demonstrate that the police remain busy and they're on the job, and it's sort of reflective between a holiday and just a regular old day. The other thing I wanted to mention is by now everybody has received in their mailbox the village newsletter, and we know from our survey results that the 3 main sources of information that our residents receive information from about the village are the pilot, our website, and the newsletter. So this will be regularly sent out about 3 times a year. And if you have thoughts or suggestions of something to include, please let us know. And finally, I wanted to mention something rather than put on the agenda. I just wanted to mention it because I see Mary Flynn sitting here. Mary and everyone in the Royal Oak townhomes have asked us to send a letter, which we will do, to the Postmaster General here in Pinehurst. Although they are all Pinehurst residents, their mailing address is West End. It's not entirely unique. It happens in other communities based on where the post office draws the lines. But we're going to help them make their plea before the postmaster here in Pinehurst. So, Mary, thank you and all your neighbors for your effort to bringing this to our attention, and we'll follow through. Thanks. And that's all I have. I'll ask Dr. Morgan if he has anything you'd like to ask.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Boesel. Reiterate what you mentioned before, just on the parade and also on the village. I thought it looked outstanding. Parade was very well managed. Also fireworks that occurred on July 3rd. So great job to the staff. Parks and Rec, you get some major kudos here. But great job to the staff. And continuing that theme, nothing really shows character as much as adversity. And Lulu, we had a pretty adverse weekend, and the rain that came was very intense. The key aspect on that is the volume that occurs in a very short period of time, and I don't know what the records are on this, but we have to be on the top of the record books here for what happened this weekend. As it started to subside, I drove around through most parts of the village, and our teams had already had some road closure signs out. They had been working hard. Certainly I obeyed the road closure signs and walked down a few of those roads to see what was going on, and was on Sugar Plum to see the loss of the road. If you're not aware of that, a whole big section of the road fell off into the side there. But the message I give you is that our teams are out there working hard, and they responded very quickly to it. And I know that the fire department's got very high ratings, our police department's got very high ratings, but they really stepped up in this situation. I also ended up going over to the fire department where I figured they were doing the emergency, what we refer to in the military kind of as a tactical operations center, but the response center, what was going on. And it was probably about 5:30. And Mike Apke and our fire chief were in there working hard. and responding to the different things and working behind their computers. This was on a Sunday evening, and they all came in to address this. And the chief mentioned that he had 3 teams volunteer to step in and just say, hey, we recognize you're getting hit. And the fire chief commented that they had 25 calls in the past 3 hours, which is pretty intense for the size of our village. And so kudos go out to our team overall and how they managed it. They kept us safe, and they had road closures to keep folks out from different areas. And we did have cars get flooded out. We did have problems that went on. Fortunately, as far as I know, we didn't have anybody get hurt. And that's a testament to our team and how they responded to it. So please extend the kudos on that, Mr. Willardson, to our teams. And from our constituency, please recognize that we got a great team working hard for us. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Morgan. John Taylor.
I happened to be out of town over the weekend, so did not directly experience this. Doug, my impression is that while there were certainly lots of flooding issues and what have you, we did not have a lot of loss of power. Is that accurate?
Not a lot. There was some. Yeah.
Well, we've certainly seen more than that for other reasons.
Yes.
And I would echo what Jeff said. We seem to have responded extraordinarily well to the serious things that we could and try to fix them as rapidly as we could. I'm thinking back to a council meeting, probably, or maybe it was a retreat. I don't remember. That the sort of exogenous event in this area, we don't have direct hurricanes. There's kind of an indirect, and we don't have earthquakes, but we could have a tornado. I know that the county commissioners have been thinking about ways to establish formal shelters in the event there had to be mass evacuations from home sites at the 3 high schools. I don't know whether they got formally funded in their budget. I know they've been discussing it for some time, and I guess that something that we'll have to think about in light of this, and we hope this is as severe as it could get. Is there anything else that we think we could have done differently? Although I think we responded extraordinarily well through what happened in a very, very short period of time.
Yeah, so we're having an after-action meeting tomorrow, but overall, they did respond very well. Both the fire department and our public services employees were out there, well before any of the major issues were happening to address them and to close some of these roads. Communications is something that we can look at. We try to be on top of it. Sometimes things get a little murky when we're trying to take the county's message about some of their services and transfer them to our employees. It's like, well, it's not our service, so sometimes the communication gets a little mixed up there, but we're going to maybe address some of those issues as we talk through some of the responses.
But overall, it seems like we did as well as could be expected, given that nobody has infinite resources, right? The only other thing that I would mention, you all have probably read in the papers that the Department of Transportation has come up with a new plan for the traffic circle. And Doug and the mayor and I, at the request of DOT, had a sit down with them, had them take us through it. I would say overall, there certainly are some very positive things in it, things that they heard from public input almost a year ago and have removed from the plan. It's going to require some additional study. I wouldn't say that it's perfect, but I think we'll have more to say on that maybe at the next meeting or in the August meeting after we've had a chance to really go through it. But it was certainly the kind of dialogue that I think we had been looking for. It was a very good exchange of views. Why this? Why that? Why not something else? We had a representative from the state transportation board sit in on it, and that I thought was a very useful dialogue, and is a good first step down that road. I think nothing else for me.
Okay. Councilman Ficklin. Councilman Farrell.
I won't repeat, but I do second the comments relative to the staff response to the unbelievable amount of rain we got in a very short period of time, which caused all kinds of confusion and problems. Well done. The 4th of July was very well done, I would say. Spectacular fireworks, right on time, and to my knowledge, everything went off just perfectly. So it was quite an event. So kudos to the staff on that. That's it.
Okay. We'll go on to item 4 on our agenda, and this is a motion to approve the consent agenda. All items listed below are considered routine or have been discussed at length in previous meetings and will be enacted by one motion. No separate discussion will be held unless requested by a member of the village council. We will be approving the June 24th regular meeting minutes, the June 24th work session minutes, and the June 24th closed session minutes. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve all the items listed and considered routine on the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion adopted. Thank you. We will now go to item 5, which is a fun item. It's an honorary resolution. Resolution 25-29, honoring Ms. Sonia Rothstein, who's been on the Planning and Zoning Board and the Board of Adjustment for a good while. I'll leave it at that. And she's been a major contributor over the years to the work of the Planning and Zoning Board. So let me read this, and then we'll have a formal presentation in a moment. Whereas Ms. Sonia Rothstein has been a dedicated and invaluable member of the Village of Pinehurst community, and whereas Ms. Rothstein served with distinction on the Planning and Zoning Board and the Board of Adjustment from 2019 to 2025, generously volunteering her time and expertise and making significant contributions to the thoughtful and responsible growth of the village, and whereas Ms. Rothstein was instrumental in the development of the Village Place and Pinehurst South Small Area Plans and Form-Based Guidance Plans, which were adopted by the Village Council in May of 2023, and whereas Ms. Rothstein's contributions to these boards has been profound and lasting impact on the Village of Pinehurst. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Village Council of the Village of Pinehurst, North Carolina, on this day of July 8th, 2025, that the Village Council hereby expresses, on behalf of the citizens of Pinehurst, its sincere gratitude and appreciation to Ms. Sonia Rothstein for her exemplary service and dedication to the community, and that a copy of this resolution shall be placed in the permanent minutes and spread across the Village of Pinehurst. Congratulations, but before I congratulate you, that's a resolution. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve Resolution 25-29, honoring Ms. Sonia Rothstein.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right, Sonia? Absolutely.
Oh. I just wanted to take a minute to thank the Village Council present and past for having the confidence in my serving, and also to the citizens of the village. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sonia is a select group of veterans of the Small Area and Form-Based Code Development Group,
Okay.
which was a nonstop effort for about
Several years?
6 months or more,
Okay.
or more.
All righty. Let's go on to item 7. This is public comments. Do we have? We may well have some. Here we go. Thank you. This is a period for public comments, and people are have signed up. And if you haven't signed up, but after we hear from our two speakers, if you'd like to, you may come forward and make your remarks. Mr. John Byrne, please come forward. Mayor Byrne, some of us.
I reckon my mic is live here. Yes, thank you, Mayor Pat, and Village Council. I won't take long, but y'all do a great job here, kind of all the way through. And don't be embarrassed about doing a good job. Be positive about it. Recently, and I've been involved in the League of Municipalities, the Metro Mayors, pretty active, you know, in the state. But recently I had the opportunity to work with Mike Apke here in town on a matter that was a little complicated, a little bit different. We probably worked on it, I don't know, maybe 18 months. But I can tell you this, he stayed with it. He did his due diligence. He did what needed to be done to accomplish the end results. And just before the big storm that we just had, he was able to get a swell, he would call it, done between Dr. Keys and Mr. Baxter's off of Cherokee Road. And it really benefited both of them, but also the area, the whole area around there. We had to convince them that they had to pay a little bit to do it and to work with the village to accomplish this goal. And eventually we were able to do all of that, and I think it was a marvelous solution. But I'm here because I know if I was a mayor in Fuquay-Varina and I was looking to hire somebody with his talents,
You better just stop there. He's staying.
and Doug probably had something to do with it too, but my whole point is be proud of your good employees as well. You know, they make your job a lot easier when you serve as a mayor and town council members. But I just wanted to share those thoughts with you, and it took place over an 18-month period of time. I mean, it wasn't just a short fix. Y'all had a flood study that took place in that period of time. There was much discussion in moving the ball forward, but we were successful in doing that. And I know it kept Cherokee Road open, and during his past rain, I mean, it would have been, the whole place there would have been flooded. But thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor Byrne. Appreciate that. Next speaker, Mary Flynn.
Good afternoon. Had I read my emails, I'd have realized that I don't even have to be here. But since I am, I just want to thank you all very much. I want to thank you especially for actually reading all those documents that I sent you. And I have here what I'm not going to have to read now. All of the proofs summed up. We've worked very hard on this, and we've been working on this since May of 2024. So and we've done a meticulous job. The person that I've been working with is absolutely meticulous with what she's done. So I won't read anything. I'm going to leave this with Shannon, and if you do want to go over it, it just simply restates all the reasons why we are Pinehurst residents, not West End. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Okay, if there is anybody in the audience who hadn't signed up to address the council and would like to now, please come forward. All right, seeing none, we will move on to the next topic, which is new business. And we're going to have a discussion on U.S. Kids events in downtown Pinehurst. Doug, I think we have some visitors. Do you want to introduce them?
Sherry Czar from U.S. Kids is here. She will be sharing a little presentation with us about the event. This happens to be the 20th year that U.S. Kids will be performing or having their tournament here in the village of Pinehurst and having their Parade of Nations, so we're excited for that. And Sherry, I'll let you take it from there.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you for having us. I am a volunteer with US Kids Golf. Also here is our volunteer wrangler, Lee Ann Eshelman, and we wanted to share some information about US Kids and the upcoming events.
Sorry. You want me to do it?
That's okay. I'll get it started. But we're all doing it.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So first, I'm going to start off with a little video about US Kids Golf. You have the sound.
Paul, are you able to get the sound on that?
A little bit more impactful with the
Yeah,
sound.
what, yeah. Well, sorry about that, Sherry. Maybe we can.
That's okay.
Try
Let's,
to get
we can skip the video and go straight to the next piece. Doug, if you can do me a favor, just cancel out of the video and just advance it to the next slide. That would be great.
Yep. You'd think that would be easy.
It's because it's timed. There you go. Thank you. All right, so the mission of US Kids Golf is to help kids have fun learning the lifelong game of golf and encourage family interaction, building lasting memories. What's important in that statement is it's not just about the kids, it's about family interaction. The way that we do this is through four things. It's by excelling as the world's leading provider of properly fit equipment and accessories, which you're going to learn a little bit more about here, creating kid-friendly development programs, training our coaches, which is global-wide, and hosting more tournaments than any other organization in golf. Now, why did US Kids Golf get started? It was because a gentleman, Dan Van Horn, wanted to get out on the golf course with his kids, who at the time were the ages of 5 and 8. They went out on the golf course, but they were getting frustrated because their golf clubs were too heavy, their swings were difficult, and they just weren't having fun. So Dan, being a problem solver by nature and an engineer by trade, decided to attack the problem. He designed ultralight kids clubs, and they're 25% lighter than adult and even most junior clubs. Fast forward to today, US Kids Golf has over 1.4 million customers around the world. That's what US Kids Golf LLC does. If we then take a look that in 2001, a separate organization was created as a nonprofit. It's the US Kids Golf Foundation. This was built to address two initiatives. One, the Coaches Institute, and two, to create tournaments for these wonderful kids. More than over 1 million young golfers have been positively impacted through the foundation. Starting with the Coaches Institute, the idea was to train professionals and coaches how to introduce golf and keep young players engaged in learning the game. So it meant not just going out and saying, this is how you hold the grip, this is how you swing, but instead to create creative games that makes it interesting and fun for the players. There are 10 levels that are taught, and that includes putting, short game, full swing, golf etiquette, which we can all think is very important, right, as scoring. Within this program, the kids can move from one level to another, and they get awarded for that progress. Since 2012, there have been over 8,500 coaches from over 84 nations trained by the US Kids Golf Foundation. Think about that, 84 nations. Now in 2015, they bought the Longleaf Golf and Family Club, or they bought it, the club and turned it into the Longleaf Golf and Family Club. If you've ever been there, they also created the Longleaf Golf Tee System, which makes it accessible for golfers of all skills to be able to tee off and fit their ability on the course. It's also a place where the Living Laboratory for Golf was created, which allows us to serve students as well as parent-child camps throughout the year. Now, it might be surprising, but US Kids Golf is actually the leader, the global leader in golf tournaments. We have over 2,300 tournaments globally each year. Those can vary from local tours to a teen series. We just had the Red, White, and Blue Invitational here this past weekend, regional championships, and the international championships as well. Across all of those tournaments, we have 28,299 unique tournament players. As Doug said, this marks a very special year for us, where the US Kids Golf World Championship will be held in Pinehurst. It was started back in 2000 on Jekyll Island, and at that time it had 400 players. We currently serve over 2,200 players between the ages of 5 and 18 in our World Championship. It represents over 65 countries, and impacting us financially here, it brings in over $15 million as an economic impact for our community. What that includes is people coming to the Pinehurst area, staying in lodging, going to restaurants and other food places, as well as shopping. If you think about it, it's not just the players coming to Pinehurst in the area, it's also their siblings, their families, sometimes the grandparents, and in many cases, especially with the World Championship, they're coming globally, so they're bringing extended family and friends. There's a case where I was talking to somebody where they come a month in advance to stay in Pinehurst so that their kids can get acclimated to our temperature and to learn the courses. So it's not just the time of the events that you'll find these families here, but it's actually over a span of time. This year, the US Kids Golf World Teen Championship will be held between July 22nd and the 27th. Included in that is going to be the parent and child tournaments, which are held, as you can see, on a couple of different courses in our area, followed by the World Teen Championship. And then the Van Horn Cup is a wonderful event where the top players from each of the different age levels are created into teams and play against each other. Fun fact, last year, over a third of the field for the US Men's and Women's Open came through Pinehurst as US Kids Golf World Championship participants. Holland Marikawa, Spieth, and a whole slew of others. Following the Teen Championship is the US Kids Golf World Championship, which will be held July 28th to August 3rd. Kicking that off is the parade, and hopefully everybody here has had the opportunity to experience the parade because it's a wonderful thing in Pinehurst where we have all of the kids and their families march down the center of Pinehurst. They go through alphabetically for those 65 different countries, followed by each of the states of the United States. And it's a wonderful gathering that ends in a party and is just got the energy of everybody from this town coming out. It's then followed by the parent-child tournaments for both the boys and the girls. We also have the last qualifier, the Veterans Golf Association qualifier, followed by the World Championships. And as you can see, there are a number of different golf courses that are included in this. Following this tournament again, we do the Van Horn Cup for those elite players that have made the top of each of their age groups. Why we're here today is not just to share about the US Kids Golf organization, but to tell you why we need volunteers. There's a lot that goes on. You saw a lot of golf courses included. There's a lot of logistics that go on. Believe it or not, we use over 1,000 volunteer periods that we need to fill over the World Championship. We have over 400 volunteers that come in, and right now, as we are just a couple of weeks away from this, we're still looking for a number of volunteers. And so if anybody here would like to raise their hand, we have positions, everything from pace of play, scorers, spotters, volunteer control. You don't need to know about golf to be a volunteer with the US Kids Golf Organization. And what's wonderful about it is You don't have to pay to be a volunteer. You get a shirt and a hat. The average shift duration is 4 hours. There's multiple days that you can volunteer, so it crosses all days of the week. Boxed lunches are provided for all of our volunteers, but the best and most important part is you get to be a part of working with these kids and bringing in this amazing group of families and people into our area and sharing Pinehurst. Oh, and you also get a complimentary round of golf at Longleaf. If you're interested in learning more about U.S. Kids Golf, there was a movie that was created by Netflix, produced by Netflix back in 2013. It's a documentary called The Short Game. It followed a number of those kids and their families through what they go through to get to the World Championship. It's still available on Netflix if you would like to watch it, as well as there are some additional websites and other social media sites that you can visit. To sign up for any of our volunteer opportunities, we have a QR code that can be accessed, as well as directly going to the link. And that's what we're here to share. Are there any questions?
Thank you for that presentation. Having ridden in the fire truck during the parade last year, I can tell you the crowd is enormous. It went on and on and on. So, and it's makes a real contribution to the village of Pinehurst, and we very much appreciate that. And I enjoyed this presentation very much. I'll ask if my colleagues have anything they'd like to add or any questions they'd like to ask Sherry.
I think this was the same presentation that you showed at the Neighborhood Advisory Committee meeting 2 or 3 weeks ago.
That's correct.
And I don't know, I know the Neighborhood Advisory members were going to try to disseminate that link for people who want to volunteer. I don't see, Kristen, I don't know if we put it up on the website, but if we didn't, we should.
Yeah, that's a good suggestion.
Yeah, we can do that. Let me look into that.
And if there are any other organizations that you're aware of that would like to have the presentation, we are happy to go out there and do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Best of luck.
Thank you. Well, while we're talking about U.S. Kids real quick, we had a meeting earlier this afternoon with representatives of U.S. Kids and our Parks and Rec, and Carlton was there. So things seem to be going well. Everything's looking like it's all set up for the parade. The parade route will go down Carolina Vista, in front of the Carolina on Ritter, and then up Chinkopin, and then end at the Tufts Park. So we're looking forward to that. Last year, when my family attended the U.S. Open and then U.S. Kids, they're like, U.S. Kids was way better.
Did we, or are we going to ensure that there's no parking on the route? I know that was an issue before.
That was discussed this afternoon. So what they're going to do is inform everyone that, if you're there come 5 o'clock, you're staying there until at least 9 o'clock when the event's over. So we will make sure that people are aware that if their car's not moved, they're staying there all night.
Yeah, let's advertise that, because hopefully we won't have the cars in the first place.
Yep.
Don't need moving cars around kids who are
Exactly.
running a parade. So, thank you.
Right, anything else? Okay. All righty, then we will move on to resolutions. First one is Resolution 25-27, fixing date of public hearing on question of annexation pursuant to North Carolina General Statute 160A-31. This has to do with Foxfire and Linden Road condos. Doug, do you want to, or Shannon, who wants to speak up here?
I'll take this real quick, but it's pretty simple. When we have an annexation request, the council is supposed to direct the date for when there's going to be a public hearing. So we're just asking you to set July 22nd as that date. And Shannon has it all ready to be posted and advertised in the local paper. So we should everything should be ready to go.
Do we need a public hearing on from the planning and zoning, or this just goes straight to council, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Do we have a minimum lead time for posting that?
We do. I believe it's 10 days, which if we approve it tonight, it will be all set for meeting those public posting requirements.
Tomorrow, right.
And the meeting is for the 22nd, is that
Yep.
what you said?
Alrighty.
And just to be clear, are these two separate? Foxfire and Linden County, is that a single unit?
That is a single parcel that they are requesting annexation.
And where in Foxfire is it?
It's at the triangle where Foxfire Road just starts off there.
Yep. And yeah, we can pull up the thing. Sorry, Shannon, you go ahead.
It's considered contiguous because the parcel across Linden Road is in Pinehurst, is that correct?
Yes. So, yeah, there's the site, and then the green is village proper. So, yeah, Linden Road, Foxfire, all right where that meets. So they're requesting, they're going through the application process. I believe it's 5 units that they want to put on their townhouses. But as part of their process to get special allocation, special intensity allocation, they need to request annexation.
They're currently in our ETJ.
All right, well, when,
Yeah, so again, we are not, approving any annexation, anything like that tonight. We're just setting the public hearing date.
you'll, if you can remind us in an email when the date is set for and the time, it might be worthwhile to.
Yeah, so it'll be July 22nd at our regular meeting.
Regular meeting, okay.
Need any more discussion, or you look ready for a motion?
I'm ready unless someone has a question. Oh, ready for a motion, go ahead.
I move to approve Resolution 25-27, fixing date of public hearing on question of annexation pursuant to NCGS 160A31 for the Foxfire Linden Road condos parcel.
Second.
Actually, a resolution that we are approving, a written set of, or we're just setting the meeting, the public meeting.
Date for the public hearing, correct?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion adopted. We can move on now to general business. First item is to discuss and approve a contract with Taylortown for fire suppression services. Doug, go ahead and describe this, if you will, please.
For many years, we have provided fire suppression services for the town of Taylortown. The contract as it currently is in force annually renews if nothing has changed and no one requests to have it cease. But after talking with the town manager, they asked if we could update it. It's been expired for a few years, and I think that's a reasonable thing to do. So the draft that is included in the packet is exactly the contract that was before with the dates updated. I did have a conversation with Councilman Morgan earlier today, and he suggested maybe we should put a clause in there or a penalty if they do not pay this on time, and I think that's a very reasonable thing to add to the contract. So I did draft up some language that is included. I printed it out, and I can pull it up on the screen if anyone has any questions on that.
Yeah, I read the language.
Go ahead.
I read the language. I agree with it. Thank you, Dr. Morgan.
So, the Moore County sets the limit of our fire district, or?
Yeah, so the contract says that we will provide the service for the same cost as what Moore County provides and their level of service for other communities that they provide fire suppression for.
But our fire district boundaries, aren't they determined by Moore County? Is that correct, Carlton? No? Okay. If we provide fire services within another municipality, I guess that's the exception here.
That is the exception. So rural fire district is determined by the county. They set that. Municipal limits is set by the town board and how that service is provided. So Taylortown could provide their own fire department and service, or they could contract with us or another department, and they're opting to contract with us to continue the relationship we've had for many years.
But obviously, we provide fire services to other Moore County controlled, or outside of our municipality, I should say.
About 10 square miles. Yes, sir.
And this will be the same rate that Moore County other parcels pay for the fire
That is
services.
correct, and my understanding is all of the other towns that contract for fire protection with either a municipal or incorporated fire department use the same formula, so they charge the county, they reimburse based on what the county rate is for the value within the town limits.
So it's not the county collecting the, through their property tax, don't they, through their property tax, don't they collect the fire services charge?
They do, so they don't collect this, this will be part of municipal tax, and Taylortown pays us directly. It's just based on the rate that the rural district is set at.
But am I wrong here that in the past, Moore County has been collecting these fees and then sending the money to us, obviously?
They have not, for the town, they have not.
Oh, for the municipality of
Right, for the
Taylor
actual
County.
fire district they would, but not for
Right, that's
the
correct.
Taylortown.
Okay.
But this 8.75 cents is part of, in essence, part of whatever they levy as their tax rate.
Taylortown, you mean?
Yes, whatever Taylor, they levy, let's say it's 30 cents, whatever, 8.75 cents, in essence, gets paid to us for fire service.
Essentially, yes. I mean, they probably don't break it out on their tax rate like that, but yes, that is what they're paying us for that service.
Is there any
For
liability?
county taxes to any parcel that has the fire services separately calls out the fire service charge, is that correct?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Jack, I didn't, you're saying, I didn't understand that. You're saying that this does not come out of the Taylortown tax levy, it comes out of the
That's what
county
I was,
levy?
that's what I wanted some clarification on. If you own a parcel just outside the village of Pinehurst that's serviced by our fire department, Moore County, as a part of the tax bill you get from Moore County, it includes a surcharge for, or an extra charge for the fire services, is that correct?
That's correct.
And
So
then
you'll-
we get reimbursed that amount.
Correct. So it'll say like Moore County General Tax, ALS tax for the county EMS system, and then fire tax if you're outside municipal limits. And if you're inside municipal limits, it would be Pinehurst, Taylortown, Foxfire. But those would not have the fire tax in that as well. It would have the county general, the ALS tax, and then if they contract, they pay that out of the general fund or general levy tax for the town.
And,
Never realized that's the way it was working.
but this rate of 8.75 has been fixed for some time.
So that is adjustable based on what the county is charging for rural fire district areas. So a few years ago, it was, a little bit higher, and it could fluctuate.
And do we have any liability in the provision of this service?
So in the contract, we do indemnify each other, so that should be taken care of with that.
Does anyone have any idea, not just with this specific contract, but does this work out economically okay? I mean, it costs us something, not that we need to do a P&L on every service we provide, but
So in a way, would we have less firefighters if we were not serving Taylortown? That would be something that we'd have to go back and analyze and see what we would do. But with the structure that we have in place, they are providing us the payment, and the existing manpower is able to serve it with what we have on staff.
but this revenue stream at 875, that's part of, I think, what Dana refers to, intergovernmental,
Yes,
that gets lumped in with other things that come from other governments.
yes, that's correct.
So this contract just formalizes or documents what we've been doing all along, is that correct?
Yeah, so, and we have a current contract in place which renews annually if there is no removal or if someone doesn't ask for it to stop. So we're just formally re-upping it, and I think we have it set for 3 years, and then we also can extend into the future if nothing changes.
But this document, other than the date, is unchanged from what Jeff and Pat might have approved 2 or 3 years ago or previous councils.
Correct.
Except for that one addition that Dr. Morgan recommended
Right.
regarding
I'm
a
sorry, yes,
penalty.
correct.
Yes.
And it was before Dr. Morgan and the mayor were on the
I
board.
think it's a very good addition.
And I think we just need to make that a practice, not just with this one, but for other types of contracts we have. I certainly support the contract that we have here and want to be a good neighbor. We don't live on an island, and it's a service that we can provide. I also have no interest in making a profit on it. This is fire services, and we can do that, but they do need to pay for the cost of what it is, and they need to pay in a timely manner, as we would expect if we were getting fire services from somebody else, we do the same thing.
Yeah.
So, everybody be a good neighbor.
I agree with that. All right. Anything else? We're set then, or do you need a motion?
Yeah, if we have a motion, that'd be great.
I move to approve Resolution 2530, ratifying the Taylortown Fire Suppression Contract.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion adopted. Let us go down to item B, review and discuss the annual exchange of letters with Dornoch Scotland. Doug, you've been involved in this from early on. Go ahead and brief us up.
Yep, a few years ago, we entered into a agreement of mutual benevolence with Dornoch Scotland, and as part of that, we agreed to send annual letters in July, just kind of stating what we have been up to and what they're doing, and there's a draft available for council to review, and if everyone's happy with it, we will forward this letter on to them to meet that obligation of the agreement.
You need a volunteer to deliver this letter?
You're volunteering to pay.
Asking.
I gave you one suggestion on the letter, and I assume that was incorporated.
I'm ahead of you, Jack. I've been there twice and would happily go back again.
All right.
Is it, well, I guess we don't know it's going to be successful, but is it worth mentioning that we have proposed a commemorative stamp to honor Donald Ross?
I believe we did mention
Yes.
that. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see it there, okay.
Yeah.
And I think there has been some exchange of, with the resort that Doug, you and I have been copied on. And so their dates are being nailed down for certain events and so forth.
In the past, we've had an event on Donald Ross's birthday in November. This year, representatives from Dornoch are actually going to be attending in person, so we're planning, some small activities to commemorate that. And it is also the 50th anniversary of the Tufts Archive, which obviously holds a lot of Donald Ross's work. So we will kind of have a joint celebration for those two things.
Right.
Sounds like you got a green light to send. Go right ahead.
If you're good with it, we will put this on fancy paper, let the mayor sign it, and we'll send it off.
Very good.
I'm good with it.
Okay, all in agreement? All right, let us go forward to item 10 on our agenda, which is other business. I have a couple of items that I wanted to bring up. One, and this is to really prompt ideas from my colleagues. We are now entered into the 250th year of our nation, although there's no proof that George Washington ever played on Pinehurst No. 2 many years ago. Obviously, we were one of the original colonies. And I was going to suggest that we think of a way to be part of this national celebration. Perhaps we form a citizens committee, perhaps we have a series of events that correlate to big events that might have occurred, or they did occur sometime in Pinehurst and Moore County. So I tossed that out to my colleagues, and I just think we've got about a year to get prepared for this, and there's probably lots of groups in the state and others that are tinkering with ideas, but maybe we can have our own little impact here. So, Doug, you have any thoughts?
Yeah, actually, I was approached by a resident. They're actually in Aberdeen, but they told me that Moore County is one of the few counties in North Carolina that doesn't have a 250th committee, and they were interested in creating one and working with representatives in Carthage. And I told them that I think Pinehurst would be a willing participant and happy to help. So I'll follow up and see if that's progressing.
Okay, that'd be great. You get back to us, and we'll figure out how we can have an impact in the Little Pinehurst way. Any other thoughts or comments?
I had conversations with the National Park Service a few months ago about this subject, and they reminded me that it doesn't necessarily have to be an event that happened 250 years ago. The celebration can be related to the evolution of our country over time, and certainly Pinehurst is an example of how things evolved, at least in one part of the country, over time. So it's doesn't have to be an event that happened during 1776. It can be, in fact, more related to the particular circumstance of your community and how it got to where it is now.
I don't have it in front of me, but I thought I recall reading once that Mr. Moore, who our county is named after, was once served on the U.S. Supreme Court early on in the existence of our nation. I don't know if that's a link or not. I don't know if he ever practiced law in these parts, but at any rate, there's probably something to dig out there. And let's move forward with it and see what thoughts evolve over the next month or so. And is that okay with everybody? Okay.
Well, not trying to show my closet nerdiness here, but Cornwallis did go from Guilford County to Wilmington and camped at Fort Bragg. And so in the process, and did go through that. So that is something from that time frame that did occur, at least with the British side. So.
Was other activity during the Revolutionary War in and about this area, so
I mean,
you can actually tie it that far back. The
yeah, there's the House and the Horseshoe.
House and the Horseshoe, exactly. So.
Okay, we'll go forward with that. The other thing I know we have a schedule. I don't think I brought it with me. I meant to with the regarding our. Oh yes, I did. The PDO plans and developments. So I'm just curious, how are we doing, and what's on the horizon, and what's next?
Well, we had a meeting on well, it was a couple of weeks ago. I don't remember the exact.
I think June 18th, maybe. Yeah.
That sounds good. We covered 3 chapters. We also talked about your fencing, signage, and a few other things. We have a meeting coming up next week, next Wednesday, where we will be tackling another, I think, 5 or 6 chapters. Am I right? Oh, Alex? Yeah, something like that. So it's moving along, and we have our schedule identified all the way through the end of October. I believe August the 13th is the community meeting. Am I right?
Yeah, that's the tentative date, but you're right.
So that will be in
August 14th, you said?
I think it's 13th.
13th, okay.
So, moving along.
Is the community meeting going to be in Village Hall or the Fair Barn or any?
We haven't,
talked about-
we don't know the exact details, but we think it's probably going to be Village Hall here.
Okay. Okay. Okay, maybe once we nail down the time, place, date, etc., we can put something up on the website, so.
Yeah, I think that will happen at your meeting next week. We'll confirm all that, and we can advertise it after that.
Okay. Third thing I had is the topic of, Doug, you had sent out a memo to the council on June 4th about the travel demand model projections for the SMPO. And what I'm not sure is, when is this due back, and what can you tell us about it? I guess your staff's going to take a while to work on it, I'm sure, but.
Yeah, so Alex, planning director, and I are going to meet together and come up with what we believe are appropriate projections for the different zones in Pinehurst. And then we're going to sit down with Scott Walston, SMPO director, and have him weigh on it, make sure that we're on the same page. And I believe they are trying to gather those from all the different communities for their September TCC and governing board meetings.
So whenever you got it completed, we can discuss it again at the council, or?
Sure, when Alex and I and Scott have reviewed it, we'll forward a copy to you, and you feel free to weigh in on it as well.
Great. Last item, next to last item, I got from the newspaper. So always full of information. And Doug, you and I have discussed this, and we here at the council have occasionally discussed this. This is the announcement that the CVB is going to take applications for tourism grant projects. And we all have kicked around a few ideas in the past, and Doug, you had a few good ones. What do you want from us, or what do you think the next steps are here?
Yep, I think at our next meeting, we'll list the 6, 7, 8 projects that we're considering, and you can direct me which ones you think are most appropriate to apply for. I think the grant application closes in September, so that should give us plenty of time.
Okay, well, that sounds good. Anybody have anything to add on that topic, or something they want to be sure we?
No, I think they've implied they were looking for larger scale projects. Is that right?
Yes, and a little more financial input from the local community, and I think we have several projects that would be very appropriate for.
I think they're anticipating with the increase in the room tax, they're having more funds available to allocate.
Yep. And they still call it the one-time grant fund program, even though it's the second time, but I think they intend on doing this annually or every other year as they continue to receive the.
Yeah, the
transit
article
order
said
tax.
they've allocated $1 million. So last time we were not recipients of any of the money, but this time we're.
So if we take half of it this time, that's probably fine.
There, that
It'll
would
make up
balance
for it.
out over 2 years. That's a good point, Doug. We can put that in the application.
Only thing I have to add is that was on my agenda also to bring up, so I thank you for bringing that up, and it's important that we address this.
Yeah, and I believe we discussed it several months ago, and so we had a good list of projects that we were considering, so we'll formalize that next meeting.
The last item has to do with a meeting I attended with some homeowners right before the 4th of July. And it had to do with stormwater runoff into their backyards. And they are behind the Hollycrest development. So, and this has been going on for a while. I know the staff has worked with them, and we've had meetings with the developers and all. But Hollycrest, of course, is not part of Pinehurst at the moment. It's in the ETJ. These residents are our residents in Pinehurst. I asked them to put together some documentation and requests and send things to the council, and that perhaps there's something we can do with making no promises. But I do think as we do consider annexations, we ought to borrow a phrase that was used earlier tonight by Dr. Morgan, we ought to be sure that those that we're annexing are good neighbors in how they interact with the residents they are bordering on. And these folks had no problem at all with stormwater runoff until after that development was built. And so I just want to put that on people's thoughts as we go forward here, because these were literally 6 people. I walked with them in the backyard, and they showed me where the water would come up to their back porch. And they obviously haven't gotten enough satisfaction out of what the developer was willing to do and what was happening with them. I did hear from them the day after the big storm, and it was full speed ahead. So anyway, I just mentioned that to everybody.
Yeah, Hollycrest development is one that I spend more time on probably than anything else I have done in my job here. So we are very aware of the situation, and there's a lot of moving parts to make that work.
I understand. I know we've been trying to do a lot for them. They recognize that, but they also recognize that those are not Pinehurst residents we're dealing with. It's in the ETJ. So those were the items I had for other business. I will defer to my colleagues if they have other items they'd like to bring up.
Well, you hit the first one on there that I thought was very important, which is CVB. Second one on there, you put out an article in the Pilot this weekend discussing the reduction in taxes that we have, and well, I'm certainly proud of the team effort. A couple things there. I think there was a significant omission, from my opinion, which is the credit on where that's due. and I feel it goes towards the staff.
Oh, there was,
They
there was a
did
definite sentence in there on that.
tremendous effort on there. We got a new manager on here, did not fill his position. We've also got a staff that went through their budgets, looking through it and being good stewards, and they're the significant contributors on being able to make that happen. And I wanted to make sure that that was identified. The second thing on there is if we're going to put out something that's a group effort, I would think that'd be more appropriate to go through our communication specialist on there, since it is a group type of thing for the overall village. So that's my recommendations that are on there.
Well, let me answer what you've said. First of all, if you read the
I
op-ed
did.
closely, there was a specific reference to the staff and their contribution to what we were able to accomplish in saving costs and so forth. The word staff was actually used in that
I
sentence.
saw it.
I saw it. Well, okay, it seemed like you forgot it when
No,
you were
no, no, I
talking
didn't
about
forget it. I just, but I think it's important that we highlight where the credit is really due that's on there.
That's
So,
what
so if we're going to do a victory lap in the public on there
The village-
to about what's going on, let's make sure we get the proper credit that's on there.
That's fine.
And we
Well,
do
I
have a
was-
communication specialist with that too.
I was proud to mention the key involvement of the staff in that, as I was of the council in general. On the second issue of working with a communication specialist, these are published opinion pieces.
I understand.
And other members of the council have occasionally published opinion pieces. I've done it in the past. I intend to do it in the future. And when I think there's something worth noting, and I think the village's accomplishments in the in the area of their budget and their taxes is a very significant accomplishment, and we ought to recognize that. And so,
I'm very proud of it too.
yeah, well, good.
And I think that the staff did a great job with that.
I
And
do.
So we benefit from that.
I think we do. Anything else, John?
That's all I have.
That's you. How about John?
I would just add that it's not unprecedented for the mayor in particular over the years to have contributed an article to the pilot. And in fact, I can think of many, many examples over the years that's happened. So it's not unusual, let's put it that way.
And usually when I've seen that, it's been more of a group effort, not a unilateral effort. And so I would encourage the use of the resources that we have with communications specialists, and also not make it a unilateral type of thing that goes forward. Because I think there was it could have been worded differently to give the credit where it's due. Okay? That's my opinion.
Well, that's fine. Everything always can be improved in life. And I worked on that carefully, made sure appropriate compliments were handed out, and that we showcased our accomplishments as a village. And that's how I'll do it again in the future. Go right ahead, John.
I had if Mike had been here, I would ask him directly, but I had a resident ask me today about the installation of what he described as 20-inch, what appeared to be sewer mains along his road. I think he's in the ETJ, out Linden Road, south of Linden Road, just beyond the village limits. Assuming this is correct, that's not something that we would be doing anyway. I'm not even sure that these are village roads. These may be private roads that were done when the development was put in.
I mean, any sewer or water project would be the county.
Nothing further for me.
Barb? No? Jack Farrell? Okay. That concludes the other business section. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn for 5 or 10 minutes, if that's...
Move to adjourn the regular meeting.
Second.
Motion adopted. Okay, why don't we regroup in about 10 minutes?